Dinner with the Diller.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you out to another episode of Dinner with the Diller. I'm your host, the Art Diller, and today, to my right, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, part owner of Humanitarian House, artist, player.
Yo, chill, son. Chill, son.
My man, Brotha
Player.
B, Rudy Tucker. What's good, bro?
Play no games. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is?
Yeah, player of
Okay.
no games. Player
Yeah.
of no games.
Oh, okay. Player,
Yes,
no game.
yes,
Gotcha,
yes,
gotcha.
yes.
How you feeling?
Bro, I'm blessed, man. You know, I'm blessed.
Okay.
You know, I have a life in Augusta and a beautiful wife in Augusta and a beautiful business in Augusta. And I'm just loving Augusta, bro.
I hear that. So listen, let's start from the beginning. Let's tell the people who you are. Tell the people who Rudy Tucker is as the man, where you come from,
Who I'm is.
who you is.
My name is Baruti Hadith Tucker. Born and raised in Staten Island, a.k.a. Charlotte. Ooh, ooh.
This is gonna be a long interview.
Word is born in the Charlotte slums of New Brighton, and I've always been an artist. I took art seriously as a child. I used to do these murals on the walls, on the chalkboards at Staten Island. What's it called? The Hip. And that was on Castleton Avenue. My mom would bring me down there, and I would draw these murals on the chalkboard while we were waiting for my appointment.
Okay.
Kids would be behind there trying to get in, and their parents would be like, no, let him draw. I was doing stories, bro.
Okay.
So, yeah, art has always been in my life.
I always been in your life. Okay. So originally from New York. Now here in Augusta, Georgia, you are killing this community. So tell the people, how did you end up in Augusta, Georgia?
Okay, we want to do that. That's cool.
I-
No, that's cool, because
gotta let
it's
people
all
know.
relative. It's all relative.
They may think you born and raised here. They may
So-
say you went to Glen Hills. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. All right. So, well, let me just give the real story. I was working for the Department of Probation Family Court in New York, and they laid us off. After they laid us off, I lost my house. House went into foreclosure. I was working 3 part-time jobs, hopping over turnstiles, trying to get to where I got to be for my babies, because I had 3 children to take care of. And then my former wife, she broke out and did her thing. And then, I had to find a way to find some peace in mind. And part of that peace was always art.
Okay.
But I was trying to figure out what am I going to do? Am I going to just draw, paint, and make money? That's unrealistic. I had to really come up with an idea. So I started reading about holistic living.
Okay.
So that was my pastime while I was traveling on the train back and forth to Bed-Stuy, Brownsville to go to work, and then going back to Staten Island, and I would have these thoughts about a book. And then I had these thoughts about healing. I had these thoughts about coming up with an idea that everybody will be able to benefit from.
Gotcha.
So I went to my friend's shop one time when I used to get my hair done. My hair cut, and he had his Facebook open, and we're over there kicking it, climbing trees, if you know what I mean. And I was like, "Yo, what you gonna do, bro? I mean, you got your shop, but things are turning around in New York. What you gonna do?" So we were building about that for a little bit, and we was talking about spirituality. And he's an atheist. Okay. He wasn't, he has no relationship with God. But look how God works. So he walks away from his laptop. I had already had a conversation with him about doing full-figured women, paintings of full-figured women. I wanted to change the narrative of full-figured women and speak about the volume of women.
Gotcha.
Right? So not about the size, not about the stature, but the volume. And so the figure of the women had to be represented in that way. So he's talking to me about the women that he's blazing. You know what I'm saying? Then he was talking about a prospective one
Okay.
that he was flirting with hard.
Okay.
But I knew he was a Brooklyn cat. He's not trying to come out to Augusta. You know what I mean? So
Woo!
yeah, it's
Ladies
real.
and
Like,
gentlemen,
say you
heard
want
it here first.
you want to go there, I'm gonna go
Raw
there.
and uncut.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
go there. So yeah, so I see it, and he walks away. And as he walked away, we're rapping. He walks away. His computer, you know how it goes black if you're not active on it. That joint popped, and the face came up. And I looked up, and I was like. And he came back and he was like, yeah, so you want to paint full-figured women and shit. He's laughing. He was like, yo, I know who you want to paint, though. Check this shorty out. So I go to the computer, played it low, because I already saw her. I played it low. Yeah, she all right. He was like, word? Check this out. He's showing me all these pictures, that she's taken down now. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were nude pictures, but they were definitely silhouettes and
Got you.
Of
Sis,
her
I got
jeans,
nothing to do with this.
her
Just want you to
jeans
know.
and her dresses. You know what I'm
Sis, I got
saying?
nothing to do with this. Just want you to know. But go ahead.
Scrumptious and chocolatey and lovely, and I was like, in my heart, I was like, oh shit.
So you played it cool in front of your man.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. So I played it low. I walked away. I was like, yo, brother, I'm going to check. He's like, you're not going to see it? I said, yeah, I saw enough. He was like, yo, you should inbox her. So I'm like, nah, I mean, you look like you giving her rhythm. He was like, I'm going to get that. But you should see if she wants to paint. You can paint her. I was like, all right. So I leave, right? A boogie. Go to a woman's house that I was seeing at the time.
Player.
Things were kind of slant at that time between us, and I was like, yo, I got on her computer.
You did not message from her.
Indeed.
You messaged.
Yo, this is divine intervention, bruh. This is not my hand. This is only the Most High doing this. This is not me.
Lord forgive us. Go ahead.
Not me.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So I get to the house, I boogie to the house and get on a laptop, boom, send a message. I had this scarf that was around my neck and a light blue shirt, big smile. But it was wild because she saw it and she was like, I don't know about this dude, right?
Yeah.
Inboxed her, hit her, I was like, yo, I'm an artist, I'm gonna paint you, blah, 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 I'm doing a show, blah, blah, blah. She hits me back. She was like, oh, okay, so. So we just started this rhythm, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not doing good out here in New York. I need to go see what's out there." So I said, "Yo, I'm gonna come see you in Augusta." Now at this time, I was gonna move to Dallas, the whole Erykah Badu nation out there. You know what I'm saying? So I was gonna move out to Texas, and I was like. I don't know about Texas right now. They're still tripping on that Juneteenth shit. They ain't really doing right. That at that time it wasn't popping.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let me just check out another spot. So I checked out Seattle. I don't know what I was thinking, but Seattle. But I saw that they had a creative community. Then when I checked out Augusta, I really didn't see that. I didn't see the creative community. I get on plane, get there. When I got off the plane, D, I knew she was family. Before she was my lover, she was my family. She was my sister. She's my sister first. And, let her tell it, but she was open too, my brother.
Okay.
She said she was in trouble. When she saw me, my fly ass.
Oh, okay.
She said she was in
With the
trouble.
light blue shirt on with the scarf?
Nah, I didn't have that on at the time, actually.
Gotcha.
If you really want to know, I had a gray trench on.
All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
So and then we kicked it for that weekend, weekend, and then I told her I was coming back. She booked me a flight, and I was there for 2 weeks. Dope ass time. That was when Earth, Wind, and Fire came out here.
Okay.
And we went to see that show.
Okay.
That was dope. And then we was walking around first Friday. So I was getting all of Augusta's, what's the word? Amenities, community amenities. And that was dope. I was like, oh, snap, they do have a vibe out here.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the creative vibe yet.
Yeah.
So I said, well, if there is something out here that's pulling me, I need to just check it out. So I eventually moved out here. And I was working on this book called Metatala. I finished the book, and then I told her, I was like, yo, we got to do something about what we do. So we first started as a community-based organization. It was called Humanitarian. So Humanitarian was about community and helping the community. We had 17 youth. She mentored the young ladies. I mentored the young men. We took a trip to Beaufort at the Utinji village, which is the Yoruba village out there in Beaufort. Fly-ass time. It was dope. Children was in there crying. And we got on the bus, came back, and I was looking at her. I was like, yo, we some bomb-ass people. We need to do something. So she was into the holistic food and living, and I was into my art. And I said, why don't we just marry these two and see what we can do with it? So with the first Humanitarian House product, or should I say business, was in our home.
Okay.
So we invited a few people at the house. They came to the house, and we sold art, we sold food, we sold smoothies, and we sold cold pressed juice.
Okay.
That was on a Saturday in our house.
Okay.
Then I was like, see, we can do this. And my wife was like, nah, we're not doing this. Not full time. I said, yo, we got to do this full time, yo. The community needs this, for real. So we do it another time at the corner, right here on Broad and 8th, right at the corner.
Broad and 9th, ain't it? That was Broad and 9th, ain't it?
Nah, 8th, Broad and 8th. We were here at the corner when the building was empty. That's where Johnny had the spot first.
Okay.
So Johnny, before Johnny got there, we were looking at it.
Okay.
And Johnny went ahead and hurried up and made his payment and got the spot.
Right.
And then we did during Arts in the Heart, and I was painting outside the building. My wife had everything set up inside the building. We rented that spot for $25. Right. He wanted to advertise that area. So he was just happy that we were going to be in there and showing some movement through the building and let people in so they could see it. So that was free real estate advertisement for them. Okay. So I did the painting, and people were gathered around, and I had like people from Arts in the Heart driving by in their buggies taking pictures of me because they was like, yo, he's pulling people in the area and they're going in and buying stuff. And some of the people didn't like it. They had a little chit chat about me being over there on the corner right before you get into the gate at Arts in the Heart. I'm stopping traffic right at that corner with painting with my fingers, enjoying, and my wife is inside and she's selling jewelry, smoothies, all the stuff. It was dope. It was a dope day. Got a lot of attention that day. And then later, long story short, I convinced her to open the shop full time.
Gotcha.
She didn't want to. She's about that, that salary. Yeah. Like we all are in terms of our attachment to financial stability. Yeah. And getting financial stability from someone else, another source. Yeah. And I knew it, but I also knew our power, So one final big argument.
People have no idea how much of that goes on.
In a marriage.
You see all the end results.
Bruh, let me tell you, man. If people tell people in marriage or just people shacking up or whatever you want to call it, not to go to sleep angry. That shit is bullshit, man.
It's impossible.
You're gonna be going to sleep angry.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's good to go to sleep angry. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying that is because at least that door is shut. You know, it's not an opening where you're constantly hearing the same thing over and over. It's not a rotation of people trying to be right in their ego, you know.
Yeah.
So went to bed. But what started the whole argument is because I told her, everybody's looking for the juice mama, but you over there playing office mammy.
Oh, you starting to fight with that one? Golly, you pissed off on purpose. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I had to.
Golly, you hit her in the gut, man. Golly, boy.
What?
Bro, you punched her in the gut with that statement.
Yeah, because I know she could take it.
Yeah, but okay, go ahead, bro.
I knew that she could take it.
I hear you.
You know, I married a tough woman, and you know and when I say woman in that place, I mean in terms of her level of maturity, emotional maturity, and also I knew where she was in her soul in terms of her creativity.
Gotcha.
And just watching her in that office when she was working for a Walker company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would look at them like, yo, they don't even know what they got here. They're just siphoning all of your creativity so that they can make money. Yeah. That's a non-cipher. You got to go. So we would have that argument. But that one was the one I had in my clip for a little bit, and I decided to use it. I decided to use it and went to bed angry. 6 o'clock alarm went off. I'm like peeking through the crust of my eyes trying to see what she's doing. And she was sitting up in the bed. And I see her take one big, deep breath. And then she kind of like halfway turned to see if I was up and got back under the covers. And that was the day the Humanitarian House was open full time.
I've been telling y'all for the longest y'all need a movie.
Yeah, that movie.
Anybody listen? Tyler Perry, Will Packer, anybody out there who produce movies? Holla at my people. They got a phenomenal love story for you. It could be like a classic black movie. Run it. So, from there was the beginning of Humanitarian House, which the original location was on the other side of 8th Street.
So the original location was at 230 8th Street, I think that's what it was. And yeah.
So now you moved across the street.
Across the street, 305.
305, larger space. And I mean, let me say this: thank you for providing a platform, because I do a lot of events there. Anytime I walk in the door, it's like home. The food is great, the juice is great, great energy. Tell the people, what is it that what was the vision, or what made you say, what was the ingredients to create that space? Because it's not like, it's, you know, like a lot of people joke about, say, like Chick-fil-A. If you go to Chick-fil-A, you know, great customer service. So, you know, they move pretty fast. And your space is, I've seen people come in there, eat, take naps, business meetings, children are there. You work a lot with the community as well as the kids and stuff like that. So it's got to be some ingredients that create that don't just come together like that. Tell the people what is it that the vision or the pieces that you use to create that space.
Well, I'll use my experience as an example in terms of what didn't happen in Staten Island, happened in Augusta. And what didn't happen in Staten Island is because, you know, you say I love New York, but New York wasn't loving me.
Yeah.
So I had to take love that I knew that I can give and the love that I deserve and make it into a place that people can come into. It's like when you walk into your house, no matter what's going on outside in the world, that should be your place of replenishing your love for yourself, right? So you went from a house to a home in that moment, you know? And I try to take life and what should I say? I live life alive so that it continues to grow. Yeah. So and then the other premise is energy, right? Vibration. So the energy and the vibration of Humanitarian House is house music.
Gotcha.
You know, so we're looking at not techno, none of that fist pump music,
Right.
just soulful house.
Yeah.
And now I'm a big fan of Afrobeat, and I'm a piano type African sounds. You know, this is dope.
Okay.
You know, so the vibration is all about you leaving the street and coming into your home.
Gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha. So in the
so the love ingredient is always there.
gotcha. That's dope. It's definitely needed. And it's definitely felt when you walk in. And just to let people know when they come, they can get vegan food as well as they can get cold pressed juices. You have your art mural,
Smoothies.
smoothies. You also provide a platform available for people to do events in your space
Artists,
and stuff
yes,
like that. Artists.
yes.
You showcase your art, which you see the mural of the Juice Mama on the wall and stuff. But along with that, you also work with other artists in the community as well,
Yes,
which
yes.
is under New Bag.
New Bag, yes.
So tell the
New
people about that.
new urban blackness artist guild. I changed it because I didn't want to be black anymore. I didn't want to be the thing anymore. I wanted
Gotcha.
to be the consciousness of it. So New Bag is a derivative from James Brown, Dr. James Brown. And Papa's got a brand new bag.
Gotcha.
I'm a lover of his music. I'm a lover of who he is. He was the highest frequency of our music, and which is why we have hip hop today. You know, and that's a segue into another conversation.
Right.
But that energy here in Augusta, there's residuals there, and all I did was tap into it like I'm supposed to, and I decided to formulate art around this music, and now we have a staple event, or should I say, presentation of who we are. It's called Sonic Visuals. So the Sonic Visuals is about artists painting the lyrics of music.
Gotcha.
We did hip hop in February, March. We did hip hop, but we used hip hop for Women's Month. Women's Month is in March, and we reference hip hop songs that edify or encourage Black women.
Gotcha.
And Tupac was one of the songs, and Trues, he has a song called Grow. And we used that song. I painted that song. Flower Child, I think. I know I'm messing it up, Trues.
Shout out to True.
Shout out to Trues. And matter of fact, the piece sold, and it was like, it felt so good because he's in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was a dope night. We have now 1, 2, 3, about 6 members right now. 5 of them are really active. And it's just dope. We have graphic artists. We have mostly visual artists. We have a fashion consultant. Her name is Mycia. She's dope. We got Destiny Love. She's a visual artist. We got Sky. Star Parks. I'm sorry. Star Parks. She's a visual artist. We got Chris. She's a visual artist. And of course myself. And we're still recruiting people. Well, I should say, we want people to come through. You know, I'm not beating the street for people. You know, right now it's just not my thing anymore. But I say to any artist out there that's interested in doing some work, interested in doing some collaborations, selling work together, doing festivals, community outreach. We did community outreach with JAMP, with Deanna Brown during the summer with the children. We've also did the Juneteenth joint. We also did Pride. So I was really, I'm really excited about the things that are coming up too as well. So
Okay.
yeah, New Bag is looking to do some big things in Augusta.
Gotcha. So, you have a history of working with youth, but as well within Humanitarian and with New Bag, you also work with youth and with their creating of artwork as well too.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
couple of young artists.
yeah. I got this young man. I got to show you, bro.
Okay.
I've been working with him now close to, I don't know, God, I guess we're on our 6th month.
Okay.
And he's 8 years old. He started out with drawing anime characters,
Gotcha.
you know? And I said, yo, you need to start with some anatomy.
Okay.
So this is his first portrait.
Okay. How old is this young man? Because I was
This young brother is 8 years old, man.
8 years old.
His name is Patrick.
And he's painting
Patrick
like this
Mitchell.
already.
Yes. And brother, if you can hand me that one other piece, or yeah, I guess I don't want to cross the camera. You can hand it to Dorian. Dorian can hand it to me. There you go. I used to be a cameraman, by the way. Yeah, in Panama City, Florida, Jim Wilson's show was the outdoor show.
Okay.
I
Okay.
gotta tell you about that, bro. But this is another piece he did. This is the Obama joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his mom friend. Forward this way? Yeah, you good, right? Yeah. And this is his pencil rendering of Obama.
Okay.
And, he was really pleased with it. He's learning how to price his work as well. Okay. So not only are they learning the skill, but they're also learning the trade.
Okay.
So you can make some money. So this work is featured in the shop, by the way.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. My man Patrick.
That's dope. So, you got Humanitarian House. You have your artwork. Talked about the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
What you got going? What you got going on with the youth? If you had one thing that you could change about Augusta, what would that be? Yeah, I got to do it.
Man, he got to do it.
Yeah.
And I want to say this to the audience. That's not me processing pain. That's me processing excitement and understanding that my inner joy is really about potential.
Yeah.
I understand that there is. I'm gonna go back to The Godfather. Dr. James Brown left us a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Norman left us a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And the list goes on. I want to use those two individuals as an example in terms of the change in Augusta. We got to get back to the roots of who we are, man.
Yeah.
Once we get back to the roots of who we are, and just even through Jim Crow, even through slavery, getting back to the truth and just say, you know what, there is an entity that there's a disease that needs to be cured.
Yeah.
And that disease is called low vibration.
Yeah.
How do you have these two vibrating human beings come from Augusta,
Mm-hmm.
and you're facing an audience who's waiting for you to say, everybody stand up and praise, and everybody sit down and let's pass the collection plate around. Mm-hmm. It just feels like every time I go to a performance, I'm waiting for somebody to pass around the collection plate.
Yeah.
Because it feels like I'm in church again.
Yeah.
So that vibration has to be pulled out. It needs to be unlocked. It needs to be mobile. Mm-hmm. And the activation of that has to come from those individuals like yourself, myself, those individuals that have the responsibility to say, yo, I have the answer.
Yeah.
And Augusta has to turn to you, D, as the answer. You know, Augusta has to turn to me as the answer. Mm-hmm. Augusta has to turn to Kigwana Cherry as the answer. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to make sure that those people that you're going to are always answering you, you know, because if I can't tell Patrick that in a couple of years, Patrick, you know, your work is going to be somewhere in Augusta and commemorating your time in Augusta. And then he goes to college, brings his college friends back to Augusta because something's popping. You may not be around for Mahogany Lounge, but you left Mahogany Lounge for somebody to do it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that disease of complacency has to be pulled out because this is a strong, vibrating, creative community.
It is.
And I say a community that way because there is a vibration that that applauds mediocrity. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. And the more that we applaud mediocrity, that's all that we're going to get. And it's going to stay flatlined.
Yeah,
And then we're going to say that flat line is hot.
that's true.
And we're going to think that this is how we're supposed to be. You know, we have a wonderful spoken word artist, Tarika. Bad.
Isolated beauty.
Isolated beauty.
Yep.
Bad. Beautiful also. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. That's my village baby, my village daughter.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I've seen her grow on our stage through the organization we still have called Seeds, which is called Students Embracing Endless or Invoking Endless Dreams.
Gotcha.
Okay, and that's the youth. They have a stage where they perform on certain days outside of First Friday. You know, they do it like 2 weeks after that. So we haven't had it yet because those participants have graduated.
Gotcha.
You know, so we're getting more participants now. So all of you parents that have children, please send them down, and I'd like to meet them and discuss them becoming a member of Seeds. So now, as a member of Seeds, she's grown into this grown woman on different people's stage,
Right.
you know, different platforms, speaking. She's blossoming. She needs to be on a stage again. She needs to be called as a priority because if you have Vanessa Harris, who's a bomb spoken word artist who too is getting older. She has children, you know. She has a child. She has a life. She's not always going to be ready for that call. There's things she's got to do, you know, in respect to her life.
Right.
But Isolated Beauty doesn't have those responsibilities right now. Right. So we take advantage of what she can give now, you know. There's so much talent out here. But if they don't see the leadership from the elders saying, "Yo, put the baby on the stage," then there's a problem.
That's true.
You know, there's also resentment.
That's true.
And then after resentment, you got people trying to find other places to go to, like Atlanta. You know, when we have a conglomerate of talent out here that's just not being funneled into the right place. Okay. You know, I saw a video not too long ago with Maze in it. Remember Maze, a young man who died. He was a rapper.
Devin Maze.
Devin Maze, yes.
Yeah.
And in this video, all of the young talent was in that video. And I'm looking at this video, and it was the first time that my wife saw it. She was like, "Baby, have you seen this?" I said, and when I saw it, this sinking feeling just came into my heart. Yeah. Like, yo, where are these people now? Yeah. Like, are they getting this burn? AE is putting in work. Okay? Then you got Art. I don't know what work he's putting in, but I know he's had some features. Those are the people that should always be on the list. You know? And that's not me saying that the elders need to be moved out the way. But if I'm mentoring Patrick, you could be mentoring them.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah, but also, you're trying to put me in a bind here right now, but it's cool.
That's good.
At the same time, though, as well, communication has to be open on both ends. Meaning that at the same time, we also got to understand that, as well as the elders and the leaders need to open up and allow them to flourish, they also have to be open and receptive to what the elders are going to input.
This is true.
And the reason I'm saying that, I'll be honest, I've had numerous conversations myself personally because I love doing music because I love it. I would do it if I didn't make a dime off of it, which, you know what I mean, I maneuver, you know, some certain things here and there, but for the most part, I'm just that passionate about creating it. I've had situations where artists come to me and had a conversation with me. We come up with a game plan, and a week later, the game plan changes. And then the game plan is they go a different direction. So then, therefore, I can't do anything for you.
I get that.
You know what I mean? And that happens a lot more. Because for me, honestly, I enjoy working in the background just as much as I do being the artist.
Right.
I have absolutely no problem. Ponce reached out to me earlier this year and said, hey, I got somebody who was my manager. She's got a lot of responsibility. I need somebody. Can you do that? And, you know, we've been working good together, and we have a great relationship. She's flourishing. Things are going great. She has ideas. I have ideas. We bump heads sometimes, but we come back to the table and we move forward. And if I was wrong, that's my bad. I was wrong.
Right.
If she was wrong, same thing. Cool beans. The communication is always open. So therefore, in those spaces, it gives room for growth. But if you don't have that open, if you're not going to be open and honest, if you come to someone for something and you're not going to accept what they're giving you, ain't nothing I can do. You tie my hands.
Yeah, bro.
And that's be honest with you, that on a real note, that probably bothers me more than a little bit. I just don't say nothing. I let everybody go do what they need to do.
And I respect that.
But it's just I see so much of that. Speaking of Devin, I know King Solo, which is an artist I've been working with. He was a very intricate, if I'm not mistaken, he was signed to him. He had the label with all of them. Me and him work together like fluid. It's like I throw an idea, he give me an idea. I ask for his input, he gives me input, whatever. Yeah. And anything he got going, he has my support as well as vice versa. Yeah. It has to work that way.
It does. I also know that I remember when Fresco was open right next to Humanitarian House, and they would have like kickbacks and ciphers in there. And I was always curious as to what was the reason that there weren't elders in that circle.
That's because if I had to make an opinion on this is my personal opinion. It's just me. Fresco was birthed out of another circle of people, which that circle of people is separated. It's not the same, which honestly, I wrestle with the idea of documenting a lot of history in Augusta, Georgia, because a lot of it is gone. Like I'm kind of like one of the very last few from a time and an era where we did things. Fresco came from that. Libra came from that. Libra's younger. You know what I mean? So she carried that torch and she carried and continued that. But her elders and a lot of people that I ain't gonna say per se put her on, but that she bonded with, they're not here. You know what I mean? They're not, you know what I mean? They're not able to put in on that situation. So in those situations, and honestly, it's almost like our community as a whole, we got a lot of broken families. Yeah. You know, we got missing parts from the family tree. You got things that's missing. Right. So therefore, that's what happens. And it's dope that she continues on and does what she do and continue to build with the youth, but there's some gaps missing. So, but you're right. All of it is the same. It's on both ends. You know what I mean?
It's relative. Yeah. I've seen things happen for Culture Fest. I've seen things happen for Arts and Heart. It's not like it's not happening. I'm looking at the consistency. Yeah. You know, the real conversation. Yeah. I remember there was a time And this is the other disease I would say that's in Augusta. I'm going to learn to pronounce this word, but mediocrity is one of the issues, right? So what is born out of that? What's born out of that is people not being honest.
Yeah.
I remember at FIT, we had a lounge where, you knew when somebody was working on a project. Last minute, they over there scraping stuff and putting things together, gluing things together, and erasing things and painting things. And we would have like these little ciphers, right? Because we were all, hip-hop, so we had these ciphers, but we're not doing it lyrically. We was doing it with our art. So he was like, yo, what you think? And we were like, yo, son, that's whack. Yo, you can paint, you can draw, but that's whack, son.
Yeah.
Don't even hand that in, yo.
Yeah.
You need to take that back and work on that, son, for real. And you'll be like, damn, really? Damn, I worked hard on this. Yeah, man, but you can do better than that, bro. I know what you're trying to say. You got the facial expression, but the body is not right. So we had this word that we used all the time. It's called congruence. So if I'm clapping for you on stage, I can't be like, yo, this shit was whack, though.
Exactly.
That's incongruent.
You're right.
You see? And that's one of the issues. Nobody's really pulling people off the stage. And I'm not saying that's appropriate.
Right.
I'm saying before he gets on that stage, you'll have that talk. Hey, yo, maybe you should do this joint right here, bro. Don't do this joint.
Yeah.
And I think it's a geographical thing for me. Like in New York, you can say that. Yo, you whack.
But I don't even think it's that. I think right now in the climate and the time that we in, you can't say that. And I think that's across the board. And the reason I say that is because now, and I hold on to this, Rico Love did an interview on the Breakfast Club, bro. I'm telling you, this stuff, I hear it in my head every day.
Yeah.
And he said what happened with the black community is that people set the bar so high that other people couldn't reach that bar, but they felt they should be on that bar. So what they said was, you know what? We're going to make it cool not to be great. We're going to make it cool not to be excellent. We're going to make it cool to say, okay, well, I don't want to rap. I ain't with all that rapidy rap stuff. I don't make beats. I do production or I just make beats or whatever the case may be. And that's what happened. And what happened was when that changed, everything changed when it came to the music, to the entertainment, to the fashion, and the whole nine. So now we have a plethora of people who wake up every day and social media gives them the tools to say, I'm my own boss, I do this my own way, I got 100,000 followers, it's nothing you can tell me, or whatever the case may be. So now we got legions of people all across the world who wake up every day and just say, I'm going to be a part of something that they shouldn't. It's almost like a basketball player saying, I want to be in the NBA. Now, I'm good for about 2 points per game and no rebounds and no assists. But, bro, I play ball. I should be in here. I should get paid like LeBron. And that's what they do.
Do you think that that's a trend?
Is it a trend?
Yeah.
No, this is the future we looking at right
so
now.
I'm looking at beatniks, okay? Back in the day, 60s cats, right? They come in with the long cigarettes and smoking and intellectualizing and pontificating about issues, not doing anything, but sitting there listening to what Miles Davis called social music, which was actually jazz, but he called it social music. And they were just sitting back smoking, doing nothing. They wasn't marching, doing nothing. They was called beatniks. Then that changed because now those beatniks are politicians. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at how this situation is, from my perspective, is a trend. Because what's happening now, when I said geographically, I want to speak globally now. What's happening with the youth globally is not what's happening in the United States. People are now in the process of building on their exports of creativity. For example, Afrobeat. Afrobeat is on a high climate of high creativity.
Right.
My issue though is that will Afrobeat be attacked by the American industry? You see, because once that happens, then yeah, the future is pretty much doomed.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it in terms of trend. Like, do you think that that's going to change?
What do I think that is going to change? No. And the reason being is because now it can be capitalized.
Well, that's true, and it can be packaged.
Right.
But that's been with everything that's happened, in terms of time.
Right.
But I'm looking at how it's going to be more sophisticated. It's not going to be just where it is right now. It's going to be more sophisticated. So you got mumble rap becoming more sophisticated. You got mediocrity becoming more sophisticated.
Right.
Where it's no longer just, this is what we do. Now you have to actually tap into the energy to do it. So if you don't, then what is that person that doesn't do it? What are they going to create?
They create their own communities.
Right. So you have cells of communities that are surrounding this. It's just like COVID. Okay, we use COVID as an example. Right now, hip hop has COVID.
You know the problem?
But you have these antibodies.
But here's the problem.
You got these antibodies, right?
Right.
That are formulating. That's going to surround that COVID and kill that bacteria.
No.
That virus.
No.
Yeah, bro. That's natural.
But you know the only way that can happen? The only way that you can change something is if you have something to pivot or a revolution or something to change it.
Well, that's what's going to happen, bro.
But listen, as long as we have technology and as long as people don't see that as a sickness or a disease, we will never be able to treat it. Because you still have a lot of people in this country who don't believe in COVID, who don't believe in any, social distancing, getting tested or any of that. So they're creating more poison.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, it's going to have to take, I hate to say this, but honestly, this is what I truly believe. Mm-hmm. It's going to have to take something that's going to be so devastating.
Like extreme.
Extremely devastating to change it. And we're seeing extreme things happen every day, and it's still not enough to make people say, wait a minute, we need to slow down on this. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what level we got to go to? Me and you probably won't be around to see it.
No, we definitely won't be around to see it.
But it's going to be something that's going to be so crazy that it's like, okay, what we going to do?
The gods speak about build and destroy, right? So I'm looking at the opportunity to destroy that, And I know eventually, just like how the earth, they talk about global warming and how the earth is not dying. The earth is healing itself. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be able to be here when it gets to its full process of healing. We're not going to be able to take it because it's going to be too much. The gases, the heat, all of that is going to be too much for us. So we got to go. But just like anything else, it has to be destroyed.
That's true.
And that's why I'm saying globally things are going to change because America now is no longer looked at as the high profile industry.
Right.
So now you got that, and then you look at how it funnels into music and how that's going to transform. Yeah. You know what I like? I like to use The Matrix as an example. Mm-hmm. The scene when there's Zion and they're dancing because they defeated the machines and they were celebrating. That's what I see coming. I see that there's going to be Zionists that's going to come forward and change all of this, bro. Yeah. The children now, these babies, you've seen these babies that come out of post-COVID today. They're on a high frequency, bro.
Yeah.
Very high frequency. So they're going to be the ones to change all of this. What they're tapping into right now, how we can control that, though, it's going to be up to us.
Okay.
We gotta. If they're listening to music, turn on some Sarah Vaughan. See what happens to their mind. You know, they listen to music. Turn on some Isaac Hayes. See what happens to their mind. I just sent my daughter this song. I can't think of the name of the artist, but she was 6 years old, sitting in the back of the car, and she was, as a matter of fact, the artist is a part of James Brown's entourage, musical entourage, and proteges. And the song went, "What do I have to do to prove my love to you?"
Yeah.
And yo, I sent her this video, and I haven't seen her response, but she used to sit in the back of the chair, in the back of the truck, just like, what? And do the whole movement. You know, she knew that something about that song would make me do this movement. You know, sonically, it's moving my body. So now it's all up in her. So this child went from listening to that song, I could bang on the table and do a boom bap beat, and song would mimic hip hop.
Yeah.
She would mimic rapping, but not do the you couldn't understand her lyrics, but she would, and that's where the drum originates, right? So to the sound. Now she's this dancer.
Yeah.
And what does she use in some of her performance? Boom bap.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying? So it's gonna be up to us to keep the archives of our good and teach it to these young babies, man. Because right now, my son, he's 18 years old, boom bap. He was listening to Billie Holiday the other day. I'm serious, bro. I mean, they've been. It's about exposing and educating our truth to our children. Because right now, none of this stuff is true. They're lying to our children, bro. To the point to where they want to take out the truth out of the schools.
Right.
So now, lying and being shameful is the new good.
Gotcha.
And that's what you're saying in terms of the music. You know, being worse and bad is cool.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's unfortunate because that is not only in the music, but it's just social. You know? It's also, bruh, it's also in churches.
That's true.
You know? So all of this is relative to what needs to be destroyed. And in time, it's not going to be, the future says no. The universe in the future is saying, nah, this is not why we have cosmic vibration. It's going to say no. Just like everything else in life that has some decay or rotting, it has to be destroyed. When a tree falls, it hits the ground. If the tree doesn't get removed, more trees come out of that tree. It's the same thing with us as human beings, bro. We are cellular. We are energy, and that stuff has to be change. It shifts. It moves. It has to change. We look. We're the only beings on the planet, living beings on the planet, that does not announce that we're changing. We're the only beings that say that can choose to change. Everything else just grows, you know? But we can choose whether we want to grow or not. But that's physically. That's also intellectually. Mm-hmm. But spiritually, you're going to be made to change.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen with what we're speaking about in terms of art. That's that's what's going to happen here in Augusta.
Yeah.
You know, this man left a vibration here. I want to ask you something before we go. If James Brown was the frequency in Augusta, what happened to hip-hop in Augusta?
You say what happened to it?
Yeah. Where you had the frequency of the boom bap, why did it leave Augusta and go to the north?
Because it wasn't the frequency of boom bap.
What was it?
It was soul music. Boom bap wasn't here yet.
So boom bap was actually here. It wasn't received as boom bap here.
It's not honestly, it's okay. It's not that it was here. It was never here. He was the inspiration for it to be born. He's like, it's almost like somebody like somebody coming up and you go have kids somewhere else. That's really what happened. He's from here, but if boom bap is his child, he went to New York and had it.
Okay, so what I'm saying is there was enough here, though, at the time.
No.
When you look at his timeline, there was enough here.
No, because you got to also remember, we also got to remember what artists like him, Ray Charles, and others had to deal with, too. They didn't come along in the infrastructure we exist now. They came along through a more difficult, dark
Of course.
And therefore, matter of fact, even I can't speak to that, but I can speak to what my experiences with hip-hop. It was a long time before we actually had hip-hop on the radio here.
Yeah.
The only two things that would play here was old school. You had your top 20 or whatever, WBBQ. You gonna have some R&B, and you gonna have some Miami bass. I used to sit up in the crib and wait till 12 o'clock on a Saturday to hear the hip-hop countdown. Mm-hmm. Because other than that, they weren't gonna play that. When that radio station changed at 6, 7 o'clock, it was Uncle Luke and Too Loud Crew, and I was like, bro, I can't. Right. I appreciate it more now, but when I was younger, I was like, please turn it off. I don't want to hear that. But what I'm saying is what happened to Augusta is the abandoned child. Because even though all of those things came from Augusta, they left here and flourished in other places. Not saying that they didn't input back into the city, but when it came to the music, nope.
But what?
Because I'm gonna tell you something funny. You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
My godmother is Jesse Norman's sister.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm getting at. But even to me as a child, my parents know her and experienced her. I never experienced her. So the only thing I had to was the music or what I saw that was done all over the world, not what was done here.
But there's levels to this. So I'm looking at how, recent barbershop talk. I was talking about James Brown. Elderly man, 70s, 80s. You know, James Brown was a lot of hype here. Mm. He said, James Brown, all he was doing was what Wilson Pickett was doing. Mm. He said, all that hollering and yelling, that was nothing new. Mm-hmm. He said, but the white people, they took it, and they was fascinated with it. I went to school with James Brown.
Here we go with that.
And, he went to church right over here. So I said, so he was local. He said, yeah. I said, that's the problem. You localized a high frequency.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean about, that entity, that power that started here was localized. And of course, if I'm being localized, I got to break out. Yeah. I got to go to other places where, and of course, the industry, of course, was there. The headquarters is right there in New York, But the appreciation of it, the demonization of his music happened here in Augusta, And if an elder is saying that, that's why you're not hearing that vibration on the radio. See, that's why all of these elders who became these gatekeepers of sound for children. Mm-hmm. Then you got church that was like, that's not of the Lord. He's only taking gospel music and turning it into soul music, And it's like, wow, I get it's almost like post-traumatic music syndrome,
Yeah.
It's like, I get that element of Jim Crowing everything that's not appealing to Sunday school, I get all that, but I also get the idea that here was somebody that was putting in work in the community and then after a while for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And just having conversations and learning more about what was missed and what was taken for granted. I think about it in terms of the music vibration. I think about when I first met you, or maybe a couple of years after I met you, I asked you, yo, where's the dude at? Remember that conversation? I was like, yo, with all this stuff that's going on in the hood, where's that dude? Where's that dude that had to lock it down? Yeah, and you answered me, and you gave me the name, and I was like, yeah. So imagine that dude growing out of whatever he came from and starting something that was just spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
They would have localized him too.
I don't think it was that they would have localized him. I think what's happening here is, honestly, truth be told, I don't think it's that they localized him. I just think, honestly, Augusta's the abandoned child. We do not have leadership here. Because if you take any other major market in this country, when it comes to entertainment, they have an infrastructure there. They have guidance there. And even Atlanta, Georgia, you still have pieces of those who came before, the little babies and the new guys or whatever, that are still there, still prominent, still active. Augusta never had that. And that's why I tell people.
So are you talking about the political infrastructure?
I'm talking. We talking about music right now.
Okay.
We talking about just
because
music.
when you say leadership, I'm thinking city leadership.
Yeah, but when it comes to the music, when we talking about what James Brown did and his vibration and what he did, who came after him? What was the next big thing that came after him?
Out of here?
Yeah. Would it be Jesse Norman?
Pastor Troy?
That was a long time. That was way after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jesse Norman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have these large gaps in between time.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
and then
where was the ride?
But you also got to remember this, though, too. And I tell the people all the time, my era where I came along in hip-hop, they were victims of the streets. And the reason being is because, like, how you got these artists now who talk about who they are, the artists that I came along with really were who they say they were.
Right.
But because of that, some of them died. A lot of them did prison time. And then, like I said, once again, we don't have the infrastructure. You have entertainment here. You got a radio station here, but it's not controlled by the people here. You got media outlets here that's not controlled by the people here. So therefore, that is the lack. And what happens, most progressive people here that are from here move and go other places. And then you just leave Augusta to what it is. Honestly, that was one of the biggest reasons I came back home. That's truth be told, because I knew it's better for me here, personally for me, but at the same time, it's missing. I had somebody, I ain't gonna tell. When I left, I had somebody, a close friend, I'm not even gonna put their name out, but told me that I broke their heart because I took their date night away from them for her and her husband. And I'm like, why you want to put this kind of pressure on me? I'm just trying to get out in the world to go do something like everybody else. But that's what happened. But we can be here all day talking about this, but we'll have to do another.
Yeah, we do, because that's a real conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the Karen Gordons. I'm looking at Black Chambers, Commerce. All of that is relative to pushing our culture. You know, all of that is relative to what we need in our city.
Is it?
Yeah, it's relative, man. Yeah, it's relative, bro.
You're gonna get me in trouble now.
It's relative, bro.
The reason I said it is because I still feel it's a gap.
No. There's definitely a gap.
Right.
There's definitely a gap, but I'm saying it's relative to filling that gap. Those people that have created their own resources and was able to provide something for the community could come to the table.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
They have to come.
Okay,
But the problem is this is the problem with coming to the table. Everybody's coming with plates.
Ain't nobody coming to feed.
Ain't nobody coming to feed, bro. You don't come to the table with your plate. You just, you got an ingredient to put into the pot. Yeah. That's to me that's the greatest of all the diseases. Like, we're not moving in that place of being the cooks and we're waiting for somebody to say, okay, this tastes good.
You got a point.
Now eat this again. You know what I'm saying? And eat that again. Eat the same. We're eating from the same plate. Yeah. So I just when I met you, brother, I knew you was the
What, man? What, man?
Nah, I knew you was that dude. I don't use terms like plugs and stuff like that. Oh. I knew that you was that man for the community. When I met Bizzo, I was like, oh shit. There was boom bap out in Augusta, man.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. When I met Nora, I was like, there's a legacy in Augusta.
Yeah, it was. It was that before that too. You had Slumland. You had Juggernaut. You had Southern. I'm gonna just say the Southern family. It was a lot of that there. Like, if you came here during that era, I ain't gonna say the 90s. It was just the early 2000s.
Okay.
If you came around that time, you would have been like, oh, we knew each other. When you press play,
yeah,
you knew exactly who that was.
Yeah.
But once again, we didn't have the infrastructure. We were just out here hustling. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We were just out here pressing up our CDs, selling our CDs, doing our own shows. Wasn't no radio play, wasn't none of that. We was making money, but at the same time, a lot of them guys, like I said, the majority of them was in the streets, and it was just, you know what I mean? We lost some of them to death. We lost some of them to prison. Mm-hmm. Like DC, you know what I mean? DC is probably one of the greatest artists that ever came out of Augusta.
Wow.
But most people, we don't.
Is there anything I can see on DC?
You probably got some. It's a handful of music on YouTube.
I want to check it out.
And that's the other thing. This music existed before digital media outlets.
Right.
So therefore, a lot of those favorite songs that you would play in the club and people go crazy, it don't even exist no more. Right. So, but I appreciate you for coming to join me.
Man, there's got to be a part two to this for real.
Hanging, man.
Nah, it's all love, bro. It's all love, man. And I don't do hope, bro. I do work.
No, it's work.
And I want there's work to be done. Yeah. There's work out there to have, you know. So again, the stage is open, brother. Mm-hmm. Bring some young talent in there, man. Oh, yeah. You know, and AUG is a special place for me, bro.
It is.
It reminds me of Staten Island without the chocolate. Staten Island, bruh. If they used to call it the Forgotten Island.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fifth Borough, they used to call it Fifth Borough. Mm-hmm. None of the rappers back in the 80s said Staten Island.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. But there was mad talent that came out of Staten Island that was in hip-hop.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely right.
So before Wu-Tang.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So breakdancers, before Crazy Legs, all those cats, some of those cats came from Staten Island. Yes. So it's like the resource of acknowledging that we were a part of it, just didn't happen until later.
Gotcha.
Until later, bro.
Gotcha.
So we got this term called, if you don't give me the light, we call it, you trying to Staten Island me? See what I'm saying? Now my term is don't Augusta me, bro.
Gotcha.
That's localizing my gifts and talent and skills. Don't localize my stuff. Know that I'm part of the community. Okay, but don't localize my stuff.
Understood.
I didn't sit next to you on the bus, school bus, coming from what school you went to?
I went to Joe's home. We finna on that note. We finna end this. We finna get real ugly.
That's like when I hear Josie and what's the other school, Laney. That rivalry. I'm telling you, New York, for real. That's like the subway rivals, bro.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's like Yankees versus Mets.
Let me put you up on that.
For real.
Them the first two black schools. Then.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yankees versus Mets, bro.
Yeah.
That's deep, man.
Oh, okay.
When I first moved out, I was like, where's everybody going? Oh, we going to the game. So, y'all ain't going out to... There's an after party. But yeah, man, come on, let's go. Nah, man, we're going to the after party. I was like, wow. That was my cultural education of Augusta. Yeah. But that's my piece, brother.
Yeah. So we'll do a part 2. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, because we gotta finish this for real.
Gotcha. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of Dinner with the Dealer podcast. Shout out to Humanitarian. Shout out to what's address 305 8th Street,
downtown Augusta, Georgia. Humanitarian House.
Get you some juice. Get you some food.
That's our symbol right there.
I don't know what that is.
That's H. That's an H.
He just made that up. I'm sure if you ask Denise, she's like, I don't know anything about that.
That's an H,
we don't
y'all.
know what he's throwing up right now.
See the H, y'all? See the H?
Please do not do that in the public because we don't know what that means. We out.
It's going to be one of these kids say you're whack for doing that.
Right. We out.